'Cause I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I've breathed the mountain air, man. I've travelled, I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. Been to Tullamore, Seymour, Livermore, Malulabar, Nambour, Roochdore, Kilmore, Marillabah, Birdsville, Emmaville, Wallaville, Connemara, Connemara, Strathround, Proserpine, Alladala, Darwin, Gingin, Lilliquin, Muckdilla, Wallavilla, Bougainville, Cumberland, Ramakiller. I've been everywhere, man.
Yeah, I don't think he's even been to Bright. Has a lucky star, but we will do our best to stuff that song up every week by putting the name of the town in. We are in fact going to Bright, where we find we give her a full title, Dr. Sara Hely. G'day, Sarah.
G'day, how you going?
Doing very well. You got Neil here, you got Rob as the other voice you've already spoken to. Thanks for joining us on Regional Roundup.
My pleasure.
No, Sarah, you didn't tell me you're a doctor beforehand. I got this really bad pain in my lower back. What do you suggest I should do?
Go see a medical doctor.
Toughen up and stop whinging. Hey, Sarah, Bright is the reason we are talking to you today. In fact, you are Bright, quite clear if you're a doctor. But tell us about Bright. Where are we going to find it?
Well, in the spirit of things flying around in the air,
Nice.
Bright is up in the high country. There's always a few things flying around, like paragliders and light aeroplanes and hang gliders, and you name it. So yeah, we are in a really spectacular part of Victoria. It's at the foothills of the Alpine resorts. So if you're a skier, you've probably passed through Bright. It's also the home to the beautiful Mount Buffalo, another alpine area which is literally within 45 minutes of the township. So it's in the Alpine Valleys. It's a very popular destination for Melbourners and Canberrans and even Albury-Wodonga Terrians or whatever they call themselves. So yeah, it's a pretty nice place to be.
And you know, it's one of those places that I've been to a few times, but you kind of need to be going to Bright, don't you? It's not like Wangaratta that you drive to Wangaratta when you're going to Sydney or whatever. It's sort of off the road enough to be its own little destination.
Yeah, people do definitely make it even an annual trip. They call it their sort of regular getaway. And yeah, it's not something you can just drop into. I mean, it's only probably an hour or less off the highway, but it is a conscious decision, and lots of people make that conscious decision on a regular basis.
And just up the road, of course, from Smoko.
Yep.
I got a friend who lives in Smoko.
Smoko's a place.
Yep.
It's a thing, not a place.
Go?
Smoko's something you have. You don't visit it.
Well,
it's weird.
Traditionally, back in the olden days, the Smoko Harrietville area was very strong into the tobacco industry, wasn't it?
Yeah, the whole valley was out to tobacco. It's a little while now that transition, and it's the home of 27 horticultural crops now, and hops has been the one that's replaced the tobacco industry, or not completely, but it is a really growing industry, the hops industry, up this way.
What other forms of agriculture keep you busy around there?
Well, I sort of cross over the highway into broadacre agriculture. So the valley that I live in is, like I said, really high-value horticulture and cattle, but my field of work is more in that broadacre cereal mixed farming and sheep. So we pretty much cover everything, and you don't have to get far before the geography changes to suit more of that broadacre. That does not work in valleys and slopey lands. That's why where I live, there's more of that intense horticulture and the cattle, high, I guess, end cattle production or beef production.
Interestingly, the population of Bright, why we think it's very touristy, the reality is if you've got that sort of intense farming, I guess there's a lot of people that live in the town employed in that industry. You get a bit further out into the broadacre, and a lot of small country towns have struggled because farms have got bigger, machinery's got bigger, and therefore workers needed are less. But some of that intense farming would keep people busy.
Yeah, it's a real split population. It's because of the tourism, we need people who can service that industry, so that's sort of retail and hospitality. But then you have this other thing around agriculture. And it's very seasonal up here. So not only is tourism seasonal, but also the horticulture or the agriculture industry is. And then you get trained professionals who move to this beautiful part of the world just to be here in nature. and work remotely. So it's a very interesting community, and at times it can be divisive over certain issues. But I also think that that's a wonderful thing, is to have lots of different voices on different issues.
And not terribly far away, you've got the King Valley and some fairly handy wines.
Oh yeah, that I failed to mention that. They'd be horrified. We have a huge viticulture or wine industry, and the cellar door is extremely popular with people up here. So you can visit, up to 5 to 10 wineries within a couple of hours each other, and they're all spectacular and very high quality.
And of course, we would encourage folk, if they're doing that, to do it sensibly and to remember that you are driving a car in many instances. And boy, oh boy, the likelihood of running into a breathalyzer in that part of the world is very, very high. It's as it should be. I'm not complaining about that. It should be. So, get up there and spend a few weeks. Jump on one of the tour buses or something and go around and see the wineries if you want to do that.
Rex.
Apart from agriculture, which is a love of mine, sport's also another one. So are you a very sporty town up there?
Oh, we are. It's Adventure Tourism Central. My partner actually runs the local adventure tourism company, Bright Adventure Company, small plug. But we are that's what attracted us here. We were rock climbers and into mountaineering and mountain biking and running, and it's just such a mecca for that. Most people who live here have a side hustle or an interest in the great outdoors or adventure. So, it's very sporty.
You're ticking a lot of boxes, Sarah, for somewhere to go, not only to visit, but to live.
Yep. And like I said, that professional, the tree changes, I'm guilty, although I was brought up in the country, so maybe I'm an exception. But yeah, there's a huge community of people who've just decided they've had enough city life and they want to be back.
Yeah, but can they afford to live there?
This is an ongoing issue. And yeah, okay, in the last, I reckon, 5 to 10 years, the housing market's gone through the roof. I would say if you're a young person in your 20s, absolutely no way would you be able to get into the housing market. And obviously rentals are in short supply. So housing is a big issue in every regional town. It's different depending on what type of town it is, and Bright has its own unique challenges there.
And I guess the other thing is too that short-term accommodation for people who are in the hospitality industry, particularly around ski time and tourism time, must be difficult. Sarah, we do need to let you go because we've got some music playing in the background that we can hear and you probably can't. But that says that it's time for us to wind up. Thanks for telling us about Bright. We're going to make sure that we get up there and have a cold drink on a warm afternoon with you, I reckon. Sounds a good place to go.
Thank you.
And
thanks, Sarah.
Please let us know how you came up with the name Bright Adventure Sports for an adventure sports company in Bright. That's outstanding. Enjoy.
Guys.
Thanks, Sarah.